Tony, talk to me about the combo prospecting approach because our viewers don't know what it is. Traditionally, and I was probably a victim of doing this 2 years ago until I learned marketing. Just going on rants on LinkedIn, they think that's marketing. They think sales. They think sales is marketing. So let's put it into context for them. What should they be doing?
Well, people have to find a way to break through to those they can help. And because people have a bias to ignore one single piece of communication, what combo is you nail your narrative, you make it all about them and their results, not about us and what not about us and our attributes or us and what we do. And what you do is you call them, you leave a voicemail, and all the voicemail says is, "Hey John, really looking forward to getting together with you for 20 minutes next week. I've sent you an email. Let me know what works best for you." And what that'll do is it'll drive them to the email. You don't try and give your pitch in a voicemail. So you phone, you leave a voicemail. Then what you do is you immediately send an email. And that's a basic triple. And you can execute a triple in 90 seconds. You may want to add a text message. Certainly the next time you run a combo at them, I would add a text message. You add a LinkedIn email. You maybe even add a LinkedIn connection request. You send them a fax. You type a letter and get it couriered to them. You get a carrier pigeon to deliver a message. You just drive combinations of outreach where they think, holy hell, this person's determined. They deserve a response. And so long as our narrative, our message, our talk track is about them and their response, them and their results, not about us and our attributes, then we're not annoying, we're persistent, and they'll respond to us.
Tony, let me ask you. So we're talking about they have to fire this incumbent broker in order to get their business. What is
Yeah.
the truth about why customers stay and why they engage with you and leave their existing broker?
So the reason that people will stay is because of emotional connection to a person or people, a brand, or an experience that they get. So for me, I'm very loyal to my bank, and it's not because I've got any relationship with the person there that I care about. And it's not because I care about their brand. They just give me an awesome experience with all of my online banking, with apps and the internet. So they make it so easy for me. I love the process. So they'll stay because they've got emotional connection to one of those three things. The reason people leave, obviously, is they don't have that emotional connection. So again, you want to monitor. Here's a mind-bending trigger event you can use in Sales Navigator. Go and set up all of your competitor brokers as accounts in Navigator and their people as prospects or leads, against the account. Whenever a rep or a contact from your competitor leaves, that's the time to contact their customer base because the umbilical cord's being cut about the emotional relationship. So monitor what your competitors are doing. When they leave or there's role changes, that creates an opening to go talk to a customer. So the reason people will leave is there's not the emotional connection, but here's the big reason they leave. They leave because they don't believe that you're part of them improving their results. And interestingly, in big enterprise selling, they found the number one reason why one company will win over all of the competitors. It's because the customer believed that they best understood them and that they were best positioned to help them deliver the business case for change. And that's your focus. You're just thinking, what would be the business case for change? I accept they've probably got a good relationship with somebody, but what's the business case for change?
So you're talking about painting the picture for the future. It is a change, but I have the future at hand for you, and I know how to take you there. I've taken my clients there. Is that kind of the narrative you're building for them?
Yeah, exactly. And again, I don't know your industry, but if I was an advisor consultant, I would create this double-edged sword narrative that there's an opportunity for you, the customer, to not only reduce costs in an area, but in a way that actually improves staff engagement and productivity. Right, like, and you create all the evidence around all of this, but you make it a double-edged thing because the client's probably thinking, well, this is just all about cost. Well, yes, cost is important, and there's an opportunity to better contain costs and reduce costs, but you can do it in a way where you actually get better engaged, more loyal employees, where you become an employer of choice, where you reduce your own staff turnover, you improve productivity inside the business. Happy employees that are not financially stressed, that don't worry, are more productive employees. They have less sick days. They work harder. The degree to which the employee believes that you, the employer, are all about them and their success in their own life is the degree to which they'll feel loyal to you. It's not the pay packet that they get. So if you just create a point of view, as an advisor consultant that's double edged, it's not just about cost. Like absolutely, there's an opportunity to better control costs on this big line item on your P&L, but in a way that achieves these other outcomes. Some of the clients I'm working with have been able to achieve X, Y, Z. So if you've got the real examples for them, people lean in and they become curious about it. And people go, do you know what? You're the person I want to work with. This other broker we've had for years, all they do is contact me 60, 90 days when our whole thing's due for renewal, and they just make it a conversation about price. You've got a point of view that can help me improve my business.
And guys and gals, everybody listening, he just gave you a summation on how you build consensus at the same time you're prospecting. Because the outcomes and results he spoke to cross the spectrum from finance to total rewards to human resources, human capital. He crossed all sorts of borders there. So if you have discovered and discerned insights into this company, this organization, the industry, then when you speak to give them confidence, certainty, and consensus, you can touch on all these different things so subtly and so nuanced, they will just think that you completely understand their business. And that is the whole game, isn't it, Tony?
It absolutely is. You nailed it.
Yeah,
and it's interesting. We didn't collude before this call, right? But we're on the same. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you've worked with many insurance brokers, I assume, in your career. You've been doing the sales training how long now?
Not long, 25 years about.
25 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And what is the number one thing or some of the top things you see salespeople do wrong in those meetings with prospects?
Well, what they focus on is making the sale rather than what's going to happen after they buy. So I'm an outcome-driven person, not a make the sale, make my quota, make my commission salesperson. And that's huge. And that stems from wanting a relationship with somebody versus making a sale. I want a relationship because then I know I can get a referral. Or I can make a sale and then move to the next person like an idiot. Because a referral is going to bring me a sale 5 out of 10 times. A cold call is going to bring me a sale 1 out of 100 times.
Absolutely.
And, sales guys will tell me, I make a lot of money cold calling. And he and I or she and I differ on the words a lot.
Most salespeople, I think that's where they struggle. I did a really good job at following up, and it's numerous times. They say 8 to 12 times touch points before somebody's going to buy from you. So, that coffee that you're sending them or what have you is one point of the follow up. What do you see with salespeople? Is that why a lot of sales are not made? The fortunes in the follow up. That's what I believe.
Their urgency is that they don't really have anything to say other than, are you going to buy from me? So if I were in your business, which is predominantly helping people stay healthy, is that fair to say?
Well, we're selling them the health insurance and
Right.
trying to lower their costs. That's what most people, it's a rising cost.
But I don't want to use my health insurance. I want to stay healthy. So if I'm the person who's providing a health tip every day or even every week, or I have a white paper on how to make customers, how to make employees feel great about their job, be more healthy on the job, 10 things they can do, 5 things they can do. If I give that as a value offering, I'm going to be a hell of a lot more top of mind than the guy that says, please find my proposal.
Sure. And that's the new world of marketing, is just dripping on them. I get your sales emails all the time hitting people.
Right.
Okay,
now, hang on 1 second. Did I call you or did you call me?
I called you.
Right. I don't call anybody. I've been doing this for 25 years, never made a sales call. Because I'm a value giver and I'm a positioner in my marketplace, and people call me for information or ideas or needs or have questions or whatever the circumstance is, and it turns into money.
In today's world, there's a new celebrity in town, and it's you, right? Creating the brand around you and showing that you're the expert, you're the authority, delivering value, value, value. Now, I still believe you're still going to have to do outreach in our thing, because I think it's, I look at this industry, Jeff, is like men and women. Okay, women have a typically sometimes have a boyfriend and have 100 guys chasing them, so they're never really outbound calling a guy. But you're still going to have to get their attention and stand out from the crowd, right? So they may raise their hand by downloading a white paper, jumping on a webinar, or what have you. It's just a reality that you're still going to have to reach out to these people, but building that brand is definitely something you're going to need to do.
So you're going to give somebody a boring ass business card, correct?
Yeah.
Why don't you give me a little 2-ounce thing of hand sanitizer with your name on it? I don't understand. It's available right now. Everyone's using it. You can be the guy that gets 100 squirts out of a bottle, and they're going to think of you top of mind. Literally top of mind. Do not buy cheap hand sanitizer. Buy the best. The difference is only going to be a quarter. Don't save money on an ad specialty. Invest money in the best ad specialty that money can buy.
We live in a world where we're dealing with VP HR, CFO, and owner. Now the owner, we talk about different personalities, different strategies, and the owner. I always say the owner is the easy one. They're like you and I, right? That's easy to talk to. It's the CFO or the HR person that's hard.
The guy measuring nickels, correct. So I'm going to walk into a sales call. If I were selling health insurance, I would walk into that sales call, especially with an HR person, and I would say, tell me how health insurance affects morale in this company. And I'll guarantee you 2 things. Number 1, they've never been asked that question before. And number 2, they're going to have to stop and really think about an answer. And that answer is going to give you insight as to where this company is right now. Because they're going to tell you about the claims last year that didn't get paid, or they're paying too much money for what they have right now, and the other guy doesn't service them well, whatever the circumstances are. And then I'm going to ask them to tell me about one denied claim. And what was that worth? What did that cost? And then I'm going to talk about, what do your people really need? Because if I know the 5 biggest needs, then I can construct a program customized for you. I'm not going to sell you what I have. I'm going to sell you what you need. Or I'm going to help you buy what you need. And that whole conversation took under 5 minutes. And I'm way deeper in a conversation than somebody trying to show me their 25 boring ass slides that their marketing department put together.
Where do they start? So a lot of people listening, some of them have taken the leap over. Some have learned from what we're doing here with this program. And where can they really start to say, I want to start building my presence as an authority? What's the easy steps to get people going here?
The easiest step, the reason why people have become influencers, not businesses. I mean, Coca-Cola could have become a gamer on Twitch and paid way more money to get way more subscribers, or a YouTuber, right? But people resonate with people. They resonate and relate with people that are like them. So the very first thing you can do is actually join social media and become active. Start with friend the people that you already know. Share what's going on in your world. Share your passions. That's the easiest way to get started. I think a mistake a lot of salespeople make is when they get started, it's all about business. But people are on social media not for business. They're there to engage with other people. So I'd say just start with the network you already have. Sort of, figure out what people talk about and start to just share a little bit of your private life, a little bit about your interests and passions as a way to get started. I think that's really the initial start, because any personal brand that you create is going to be around your passions, right? And it's no different than, remember I talked about that analogy with the Chamber of Commerce meeting or with the professional networking meeting. As you talk, there's going to be topics that come up. Oh, you're a USC alumni, so am I. Or oh, you love that restaurant, so do I. These are little things that we can use in virtual digital conversations to try to find connections with people. And as they engage, we're building those connections. And like I said, right now we're just starting with the people we know, but slowly over time we can branch that out. And that's really step two. But step one is you got to get out there. If you're not publishing weekly on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, those are the three platforms that I think are probably the most used. And I'm not saying you need to be on TikTok, because you don't. Your target buyer is not on TikTok, but they're probably on Facebook. They may not use it personally. They may not use it professionally. They may be on LinkedIn. If they are, they use it professionally. And if they are a millennial, and millennials are the majority of the workforce right now in the United States, they're probably on Instagram. And those would be the three I would target. To start once a week. You start with connecting with friends on Facebook. You upload that list to Instagram, find where they are. You upload your connection database to LinkedIn. You get connected. You build up a profile, and you start publishing weekly to begin.
And what do you think of the different contexts per platform? So majority of our audience lives on LinkedIn, and they're on Facebook. We probably don't know where they are and can't find them as easily. But talk about context for a minute versus the content should be put out on a platform like LinkedIn.
Yeah, so I mean, LinkedIn's professional, Facebook, Instagram's personal. Although Facebook has become a little bit more professional over time as it gets younger, and LinkedIn's become more personal over time as it gets younger. So, you could potentially have the same content put on all three networks today. I wouldn't say that 10 years ago, but yes, I mean, LinkedIn is more of people, professionals. They're looking for information that's going to help them do better at their job. So if you want to publish more professional content, you'd want to do it in those areas, whereas more personal content in Facebook and Instagram. So, what still performs fairly well on LinkedIn are actually links to content, right? But what performs best in any social media are photos, and even more than photos are actually videos. And I'm not saying you need to, get in front of a camera and speak. If you could and upload a video, you're going to get the best bang for your buck. You're going to get the most people to see you. But even a photo speaks a lot louder than just throwing up some text. So I think, we're already thinking visual first. In social media marketing, we're thinking video first today. Now, if you're just getting started with all this, you need to, as best as possible, think visual first. Because if you can do that, you're going to be way ahead of a lot of people that are just sharing links. They're just sharing text. And the algorithms really aren't favoring them because they're just taking people off of LinkedIn when LinkedIn wants you to stay there. And that's why the photos and videos just get more, we call them impressions in the news feed, but they get more visibility for what you want to say.
Okay, so you're doing a lot of social media marketing for agency or as an agency and for bigger companies. You see all this stuff going on now with Corona. It's bigger than ever. People that were behind are behind. People that were doing it now have the competitive advantage. What are your thoughts on the virtual events and things like that that's going on?
Yeah, what the coronavirus pandemic has taught us is what you and I have been saying all along. You got to be digital first. And now, if you don't have a digital strategy, even if you're in sales, how do you meet people? You got to meet them virtually, right? People, you cannot meet them physically. So, you have to, everything you do now has to be digital. And because of that, it only accelerates everything I'm talking about, right? Sure, you can do virtual events. You might have people come to them, but everything you do, whenever you are engaging in social media, this is part of it, right? If you're not doing emails, well, if you're like me, you've probably gotten a lot of emails from a lot of companies recently who just woke up to the fact that, wow, we need to communicate with our customers. We're not even doing emails. We got to start doing emails, right? So, what I like to say is in digital, you got to meet people where they are, right? And where are your customers? They're either searching for content, they're either reading emails, or they're in social media, right? It comes down to email, search, social. So the search part is difficult. This is where you want to create content, and this is what your company should be doing. I'm not going to expect you to blog. But the email part and the social part are things that any one of you can do that's really going to help you with your sales.
In the new book, you talk about seven things motivated people do to stay motivated. What are some of those things that insurance brokers that are kind of stuck in their ways can do to get motivated? Because that's really what it comes down to.
Oh, that is that, and here's this whole thing. Don't go thinking anybody else can motivate you, because only you can motivate you. I really hate to drop the mic on that one. You have to motivate yourself. And what you do is, I'm going to share with you a couple things. First of all, you make a list of all of your clients. You make a list. And what are the outcomes? What are the outcomes that you've been able to help them with? I'm really big into outcomes. And you keep them there. And when you can say that you've helped them achieve this, and it's not just about dollars and cent savings, you've helped them to be able to put in place a benefit package that has allowed them to retain employees, that has allowed them to attract better employees. You've helped them be able to get this new division up and running when they were suddenly coming into a marketplace. You were able to help them get coverage on employees at this remote location. What did that do for them? Well, that allowed the productivity of that remote location to be higher. You put all those out. You look at that list and you go, dang, I'm good. I actually do some good stuff, you know? And that's and that right there. Then what you do is you set yourself up for what I call a Monday morning goal. I want to have a Monday morning goal. Here's what I found. Success creates success. Momentum creates momentum. And what I want to do is I want to set myself up for an easy goal that I know I can achieve by 10 or 11 a.m. on Monday. Because you know what's interesting?
A small win.
Just a small win. It's just a small win. It might be a win that, you know what? I've got to call these 2 prospects back. I got to call these 3 people back or 4 people. And my goal is just to get 1 meeting out of them. 1 meeting. Or maybe I just got to follow up and I just got to get this piece of information over. It's something, and you create an easy win come 10 or 11 a.m. What does that do? That just psychologically gets you going. It just psychologically creates motivation. In the military, one of the things they teach you in the military is you make your bed to perfection right when you get up. Why? Because that's completing something. See, that's completing a task. See? Now, I don't want it to be a task as in, gee, I got to get this file completed. No, I want to have a task in terms of a goal, in terms of I created something better for somebody out there. Another technique that I love doing, and I love doing this on Monday mornings. You may have a whole variety of HR people that you've had the chance to come in contact with. So what you do, and I really suggest, go and do this on a Sunday. You may be reading a magazine or you see this online. Hey, I'm gonna email that link to them. I'm gonna send that to them. They know you, you know them, but suddenly they get this email link. I do this all the time. I do a lot of work in the transportation industry. So there might be an interesting article that I see online. So what I do is I just email that link to CEOs of transportation companies I work with. And there's no sales pitch with it. What do? They go, wow, this guy's thinking of me. This guy's actually thinking of me. And it's amazing. It's those little connections that I love doing. See, here's something else that I love doing as a key way to get myself psyched up. I love sending books to people. Not the books I've written. Not the books I've written. Other books. I will read a book or something like that. I go, oh, that's a good book. I'm going to Amazon gift or Barnes and Noble that gift book to prospects. To prospects. You know, it's a prospect that I've got a little bit of a relationship with.
That gives you another reason to check in with them and give them a call, right?
Bingo. So here you send them a book on leadership, or maybe it's a book on just business. I don't care what it is. Don't send them a book on healthcare. Do not do that, okay? but it may be a great biography that's read on somebody, and you send it to them. And I'll tell you what, you're going to get a return phone call. You're going to get a return email. Sure, it costs you 10, 15, 20 bucks. I don't care. You know what? That is gold. To me, that has been one of the best approaches I've used to be able to take somebody who can't quite get that meeting.
Let me switch over to
You got your mindset right now, and now you've got to get on the phone and cold call. And this is the reluctancy that all salespeople have. The less you do it, the harder it becomes to do. What do you see? You've trained so many people. What do you see that the top sales guys do to get themselves in that state of mind, or just pick up the phone and call? Because I know a lot of our listeners, whether they're still doing it themselves or even whether they're not just making straight cold calls, just calling the prospects that are on the hot list or the ones that they've seen in the past or they saw for renewals the prior years. What is it that they need to do to get their ass on the phone and make the call?
Well, hey, first of all, I have never seen a headline. I have never seen this in a headline, whether it be in a paper, whether it be online. Prospector gets murdered for calling somebody. It just doesn't happen. Okay, right? I mean, no blood is going to be spilled. No children are going to be harmed. Animals will be safe. The sun will still come up in the morning. I mean, get over it. Make the call. Now, okay, now that doesn't, but what I'm trying to say is relax. Here's the whole thing. Go back to this list that I talked about in terms of the outcomes. You know you can help somebody. You know you can help somebody. You have an obligation. It's your responsibility to get in touch with them. It's your responsibility to have a conversation. If you do not get in touch with them, if you do not have a conversation, you are hurting them. You're hurting them. That's the approach you want to take. And my goal is just to earn the right, the privilege, honor, and respect to be able to have another phone call with you, to have another conversation with you. That's all. I'm not asking for you to give me world peace. I'm not asking for you to will me your next child. No. I'm just looking to earn the right, the privilege, honor, respect, to be able to have the next conversation.